This is my 1990 Ford Ranger XLT. It has the 2.9 liter V6 with the 5-speed manual transmission. This thing, I bought this earlier this year, which would be 2019. I bought it exactly the way it looks from a guy that, if anyone's familiar in Wisconsin, he used it for trail running on the pipeline. So he cut, I believe he said 8 inches off of the frame and built this custom flatbed. So he did not use it for daily driving. He took the sway bar off, put I believe he said 3-inch lift and 33s. Obviously aftermarket front bumper with a 9,000 pound super winch. I'll save under the hood. When I bought this, it was running like absolute garbage, and he was aware of that and he couldn't figure it out. He thought it needed an intake gasket, and I got it home. He figured out that he had the plug wires for 5 and 6 crossed, so that was the main reason why it was running really, really bad. But after that, it still had a extended crank issue. I mean, I'd get in this thing, it would crank maybe 30-40 seconds before it would actually fire up. And even then it would have a real bad hesitation when you step on the throttle. And I went through an intake air temperature sensor, coolant temp sensor. He already had new coil plugs, wires. The plugs were completely soaked in fuel, so I put new spark plugs in it again. I put an ignition module in it. What else was there? I unplugged the O2 sensor to see if the O2 sensor was causing it to just dump fuel in. That still didn't take care of it. So what I ended up doing is I went to a junkyard and found a new PCM, threw the PCM in there, and if this thing didn't fire right up, it fired up. And after that, I mean, it was sitting for several years, or over a year in storage. So I put fresh gas in it and a bottle of fuel injector cleaner, and I haven't really had too many issues since. I did have to repair one fuel line. I got a fuel line out of a junkyard and rigged it up in there. It was one of those. I honestly can't remember which one it was. It was a while ago already. And this valve cover here has a very bad leak. It's just leaking right onto the exhaust and smoking like crazy, so I got to get some new valve covers for that put on here. I just haven't had time yet. That's going to be done very shortly. But other than that, this thing's a runner. And I'm actually going to be, this is going to be my daily beater to work and back, especially in winter. You can probably already see I had a subwoofer set up from a Ranger that I had in high school. I had that laying around, so you know that's obviously more important than fixing the major oil leaks. But went ahead and put a 12-inch Alpine sub in here. It's a custom-made box, ported. And I also bought a set of kicker speakers for the front and for the back, but I have not put those in yet. This truck's been on the back burner. I've had some other stuff going on. CB radio, and because this guy was using it for wheeling, he actually has a really redneck cruise control. So if you look, see if I can get this shot here. You can see. So that is a secondary throttle. Little sketchy, but hey, it actually is kind of nice sometimes. But it does scare me. Other than the oil leak on the valve cover, this thing's pretty much good to run, other than the rear diff is leaking really bad, so I'm actually probably going to be doing that later today. I'll do a video on that of taking the cover off, cleaning it all up. I'm going to paint it. And then I'll do a video of it, you know, filling up fluid, so you guys learn how to do it the right way. But there's not a whole lot to say about this thing so far. I'm for the most part going to run this truck the way it is. I would like to make a different flatbed for it, but this thing works for now, so I'm not going to do anything major. The only thing I'm probably going to do is add just a white LED light right here so it lights up the plate so cops don't stop me. Because other than that, I think this thing's pretty much street legal, other than it does not have a license plate light, so I'm going to take care of that. That's easy. But, yeah, I also have to deal with that too. If you don't, I have to realign the pin there, because if you don't push down on the door sometimes, it doesn't close. And I broke the door handle for the inside, so to get out of this thing I have to roll the window down. I just haven't gotten to the junkyard yet. I have not got to the junkyard yet to buy a new handle, because I'm not buying a brand new one. That's just stupid. But there she is, 1990 Ford Ranger. I should probably, let's see, this thing still does start poorly, unless it's been warmed up already, but when it's cold. Also, another issue which I'm going to take care of is, notice there's no key in here. Yeah, this thing runs without a key, so I'm going to take care of that problem sooner than later, but for right now, that's the least of my concerns, because I don't think anyone really wants to steal this pile of crap. So yeah, once it starts, it runs pretty good, and I've only put half a tank in this since I bought it, so I'm sure it's still running on shitty fuel. Don't judge me on the music, that's just what's on the radio. I hate that song. But that's it. That is my 1990 Ford Ranger. 2.9 liter.